Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We are streaming out live on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook Live, a BitChute Live, as well as on 21st Century Wire, alternate current radio as well. And also you can catch us on the audio streams after the program. We'll be there hours after the program on iTunes, Spotify, and all your finer podcasting platforms. You can find us there as well. Thank you again for joining us. This is episode 594 of this weekly Omnibus News and Analysis Radio and TV program. Again, brought to you here at 21stcenturywire.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we get to what we need to cover here in the first segment, and again, we'll be joined as usual in the Overdrive segment by our colleagues on the other side. I think we'll hopefully have Hesher and Ruckus, possibly Basil Valentine. We'll see how we go on. But so looking forward to that. And we got some pretty far out stuff. And there's just sort of next level Fed slop. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but Trump is just taking this concept to a new height, really, in terms of what they call Fed slop. And there's just plenty of it to go around, including UFO slop. They've emptied out J. Edgar Hoover's old filing cabinets with all sorts of garbage, including like flyers from UFO conferences in the 60s. And the Trump administration is trying to package this as declassified UFO files. I mean, it's a joke, basically. Never seen such a joke. I mean, anybody that falls for this one, good luck to you. We're just waiting for the Bigfoot files after this, I guess, and maybe we'll find out where Jimmy Hoffa was buried, under which overpass in which city. Who knows? Who knows? Ask the Teamsters. They're good friends with Trump, by the way. So anyway, we might get lucky. We might find out some of these things. Who knows? But anyway, look, we'll bring this up on screen now. And again, we'll just direct people to 21st Century Wire, and that is the Sunday screening this week. Venezuela after Maduro 2026. This is an interesting take, actually. This one is interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. There's a lot of looting going on right now by the U.S. In Venezuela. I think they've stolen a lot. All the sort of working bits of Venezuela's civilian nuclear power program, which they've been developing. I think the U.S. is dismantling and stealing any enriched uranium they can find, and then probably sell. Knowing Trump, he'd probably sell it. Yeah, they'll probably sell it, probably to a U.S. operator or some foreign country. Just the level of theft is just incredible, unbelievable. So that's up at the Sunday screening there. Venezuela after Maduro. So you can catch that up on our website. That's our weekly documentary film curated by the editorial team at 21 Wire. We do that every week, and this one is pretty good, pretty informative, well produced as well. But anyway, it just gives you a good overview because obviously this story is out of the limelight right now. It's not really a focus for people, but now you can kind of get a better idea. Yeah, the story is definitely still happening. And there's a lot to consider. It's definitely not over. It's just incredible what these people have been able to get away with recently in the last year. But, we're here to document it, to expose it, to give you the information you need to know what's actually going on. That's what we're here for. So anyway, moving on to the business at hand. Well, on again, off again. Is there a war? Is there not going to be a war? It just depends. Nobody knows for sure. But we think they're preparing for war. The question is when. And I don't think it's a question of if. I think it's a question of when. And what I will say about the current situation is this has benefited both Iran and the U.S. It's benefited Iran because it's given him an opportunity to fortify its defenses and also to make adjustments and calculations. Having studied the U.S. has been testing Iran on every conceivable level, on the Strait of Hormuz, obviously, but also testing their air defense. Iran has made some adjustments to its air defenses. It's probably going to be introducing some changes, some tactics and techniques that will take the U.S. by surprise. So we think that when is this going to happen? Any day. It could happen this weekend, could happen tomorrow, could happen by the end of the week. I personally think that the U.S. will delay this, or Israel. Again, this is part of the problem with this conversation, folks. This isn't just the U.S. versus Iran. And I made this point on another interview, which I did earlier today on Dialogue Works with Nima. Is part of the whole deception of this in the international media and politics is that it's not the U.S. negotiating with Iran. It's Israel directing the U.S. who's negotiating with Iran. Understand that nuance, okay? Donald Trump is not in charge, okay? He is to a certain degree, but who makes the final call? Who has veto power over U.S. policy? It's Israel. This isn't a theory. This is a fact. It's been proven many times over. So that makes it a lot more complicated. Trump has a meeting with Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader. It's coming up this week or next week. And I don't think it would be a good idea for the U.S. or for the U.S. to allow Israel to attack Iran before that meeting. That meeting would probably get canceled. It wouldn't happen if they did it before, or it'd be a disaster, a waste of time, really. So I think they'll wait till after. The problem with this is it's going to basically nullify if there is any progress made between the U.S. and China in the upcoming summit, all of it's going to be washed away and nullified by what the U.S. and Israel are about to do. That's what you need to understand. And I think this will be consequential in terms of U.S.-Chinese relations, because it is part of the U.S. strategy to damage China's economy and damage their energy supply chains by doing what they're doing to Iran. Okay, it's intended to hurt China. This is part of the U.S. strategy. They're very open about this in Washington. China knows this, so they're not playing games. Trump's playing games, but Chinese aren't playing games. And you could expect maybe some stern words by the Chinese, backed up by some pretty stern actions, i.e. more support for Iran, which that will be very bad for the U.S. and probably for Israel. But so they'll probably most likely wait to attack. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. But it's coming. It's coming. Israel needs this war to continue. They really believe that Iran cannot be allowed to exist as a government, as a country, in its current form. And they'll do anything, however crazy and insane, to make sure that that's the case, that happens. So that's what you're dealing with here. This is a criminal cabal, a psychopathic entity that's running the U.S., that has managed to commandeer the U.S. military, which is pretty incredible. So that's what's going to happen. We're not looking forward to it. It's going to be ugly. A lot of people are going to die, mostly Iranians. But Israel won't be without its casualties, that's for sure. And the Gulf states are probably going to feel tremendous pain based on what's coming. I can tell you that for sure. So this will transform the region. So is war afoot? Are they preparing for war? It sure looks like it. It sure looks like it. Looks like it's coming. So we're looking at that situation, and we'll talk about the broader geopolitics here. There's been a few changes. So the latest, anyway, if you want the technicals on this, the U.S. have issued a one-page memorandum of understanding with the deal on it, a 10-point plan plus 4 points. It's really ridiculous. And the Trump administration, to make sure that this deal never happens, that's the other thing you have to understand with this White House. they'll push a deal out through their negotiations channels, and they'll put a caveat on it that guarantees that the other side will never agree. And the caveat the U.S. put on was that there's a 24-hour deadline. Iran must accept this. There must be a deal within 24 hours. Otherwise, there could be, we could go back to the drawing board, or worse, there could be war. No serious country is going to put a 24-hour deadline on something so significant and consequential. It's just patently stupid. But that's what you're dealing with this U.S. administration. These are not the brightest people. Unfortunately, they're in charge. So they're not serious about negotiations. This is just buying time for a war to resume. I think there's a high probability that that's what we're looking at here. I wish it wasn't true, but I don't see any real progress made in terms of legitimate negotiations or legitimate movements towards a negotiated settlement, political settlement. I just don't see it. There's no evidence of that at all. And there hasn't been from the beginning. There hasn't. It's not serious. So I'm afraid that's the bad news, folks. I can't really give you any more good news on that front. So that's what we're looking at here. So next up, the war itself. The point on this is the U.S. is at a very weak position compared to where it was on February 28th. It's minus 17 plus U.S. bases in the Persian Gulf. It was operating from all of those freely, and they're already running into huge problems. Now, this week, 2 countries this past week refused to allow the U.S. to use its airspace to attack Iran. One, Saudi Arabia. That's huge. The other is Kuwait. That's massive as well, because that's the closest emirate in proximity to Iran. And the reason is obvious, because these countries don't want to be targeted by an Iranian retaliation. So they made that explicit declaration. Now, reports suggest that they reneged on that after 24 hours after pressure from the U.S., and who knows what that entails. Bibi could have called them and says, MBS, you're in the Epstein files. You don't want me to put those on the internet, do you? You should change that policy. I don't know. We can always speculate and guess. They're not very strong. These Gulf states, they have very little agency. They're completely dependent on the U.S. They made this stupid mistake of buying all U.S. weapons, which means they can't fire anything without U.S. support teams and permission and launch codes, and they couldn't get a jet off the ground without America. That's the problem. So they're sort of trapped. These are sort of like protectorates, if you will. Expensive protectorates, rich protectorates, but they have no agency. That's the thing. So that's the situation with the Gulf. So, but the fact that they did issue those statements, and we can confirm that did happen last week. Okay, that's a big sea change, because what that means is that now they're thinking about the consequences. Now they're thinking about the consequences. Now they're worried about what will happen if they hitch their wagon to Uncle Sam's Clydesdales. That's what they're worried about, and they should be. So the fact that this was a story, that this happened this week, I think is a massive game changer, because that's the beginning of the shift in orientation, and that will, in my opinion, that'll be the foundation of a new security architecture going forward for the region, by the region, for the region, without the United States. The U.S. cannot be involved in any security architecture for the West Asia, the Persian Gulf, aka the Middle East, ever. It just won't. It can't happen. And Israel's not going to be included in this. If they are, they'll be dragged into it later, begrudgingly, if at all. So, and this isn't going to be able to be ironed out very easily. This might take 5 years, and there might be a few wars that entail, as a result, trying to iron this one out. But these are the first ugly steps, and they're based on the ground realities. So there's not much we can do to change all that. So that's what's happening. So meanwhile, the U.S. military-industrial complex is getting geared up. And this was tweeted out by the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. I can't believe this guy is in charge of the Pentagon. He's a Fox News weekend host. He got kicked out of the D.C. National Guard. He's got drinking problems, reportedly, spousal abuse or partner abuse or whatever. He had to pay an undisclosed payout because of something that happened with somebody, major sexual assault or something. That's what the reports suggest. Anyway, the guy's a mess, okay? He's got tattoos all over his body, but Israel said, that's your Secretary of War, Donald Trump. The Israel lobby shortlisted him and demanded that he was appointed, and so Trump did what he has to do because he himself is a slave to the Israeli lobby, and he appointed this Fox News weekend host whose highest rank in the military, I believe, was major as a reservist from Minnesota. Okay. But at the top of his resume, Pete Hegseth was a guard at Guantanamo Bay, lording over Afghan taxi drivers, goat herders, school teachers, and various and sundry people they picked up in Afghanistan to put in sensory deprivation cells and torture in Guantanamo. And that's Pete Hegseth's shining jewel of his resume in the U.S. military, Guantanamo Bay. Unbelievable. Anyway, perfectly qualified to run the world's largest $1.5 trillion military. So he is now doing the stupidest happy clappy videos to sell this bloated military budget. Honestly, it has to be seen to be believed. It has to be seen to be believed. I think we have this video actually on file. We're going to pull this one up because we have to play this again. I will stop this intermittently to comment because it's just so over the top. It beggars belief. Here is Pete Hegseth. And again, a lot of people have remarked that he needs to get a tailored suit. It's a little bit tight on the waist, but that's because Pete, too many lobster dinners, too many beers, too much wine. But here he is.
Broken Pentagon bureaucracy was doing the same thing for decades. When our warfighters needed more weapons.
So one of the things Pete Hegseth is he's trying to redefine the word soldier as warfighter. Okay. So this is fascist propaganda. There's no other way to put it. You change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. You're sending a signal that we are going to start wars. We're not going to react. We're going to start them. And that's exactly what the Trump government has done in the first 18 months. They've started 3 new wars, maybe 4, and they bombed 6 countries. Okay. So Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, and he's redefined soldier. It's a term that we've used for many, generations, thousands of years. He's calling them war fighters. Okay. So he's kind of turning it into a Marvel comic sort of child action figure type world. This gives you an idea of the place where he operates, what sort of level this person operates. And I think in his case, well, I'll tell you what I think later, but this is the sales pitch. They've just jacked up the U.S. military budget to $1.5 trillion plus they want $200 billion additional override to pay for this illegal war in Iran against Iran. So that's $1.7 trillion. So just to put that in perspective, that is up from $850 billion last year budget. So that's more than double at that level. Meanwhile, Americans are living under bridges.
Aircraft and ships. The Department of Defense allowed contractors to double dip at your expense. They charge you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charge you again for the final product. And despite paying companies to make weapons faster, schedule delays were constant, and cost overruns were the norm. All while their CEOs got rich.
Okay, so this is so disingenuous, you guys. Okay, this guy, this gelhead, okay, this guy that looks like he's been chasing parked cars. He's like a dog who's been chasing parked cars. He's trying to frame this like a populist argument, like we're here for the working class. We're burning all your money on weapons to fight forever wars on behalf of a foreign country, the very thing that Trump campaigned not to do. He's trying to spin that we're doing this for the working people. We're looking out for you guys. It's those evil CEOs for these defense corporations, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon. He's not naming them, obviously. He's not naming them because he has lunch with them. This is fake. This is completely fake. He works for them. His Pete Hegseth's deputy Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense, whatever the hell you want to call it, his name, I believe, is Steve Feinberg, if I'm not mistaken. That's who actually runs this department. Okay? He is a hardcore Zionist, big supporter of Israel, the IDF, and everything. Surprise, surprise. And he runs a hedge fund or a private equity company that deals with defense contractors. So he made all his money off the military grift. And he is running this department. Pete Hegseth is the sales guy to do these stupid happy clappy videos. It's embarrassing that you would lower the Pentagon to do stupid happy clappy videos like this to try to, endear yourself to the working class. It's ridiculous. So what he's saying here is completely disingenuous. Okay. And it's a good video. I mean, listen to what he's saying here. I'll just comment.
Companies to make weapons faster, schedule delays were constant, and cost overruns were the norm.
So, listen, no company is going to take the risk of retooling their entire operation to develop a weapon system or a jet or a missile or whatever for the U.S. government unless they have absolute hard guarantees that because they're about to sink a total fortune into hiring people, scaling up departments, R&D, all that stuff costs money. They're not going to take that risk unless they have guarantees. And that means there will be, in every single occasion, there will be cost overruns. And notice he's not saying that they're not going to get what's called an override. An override is approximately 35% on top of costs. That's a guaranteed profit margin. And that's the standard deal they all get. And why do they get that? Because otherwise, who's going to take the risk to do this? And notice how Pete Hegseth, it's all about fast production. Why? Because the U.S. wants to fight constant wars. That's why they doubled the defense budget or the war budget. They want to be fighting constant wars. They want to be. They think they can overwhelm the Russians and the Chinese and the Iranians with drones and missiles and air defense systems, and they're just going to wear them out, swarm them to death. That is the U.S. actual strategy going into the next period of years. That is their actual strategy. So they want to ramp up a war economy, and they've drafted in big tech and these nut jobs like Palmer Luckey, VR glass guy, who's now defense guy, and who is gung-ho and a little bit too excited about making weapons that are killing people, much like Alex Karp from Palantir. These people are unhinged sociopaths. And this government wants to give them a blank check. And Hegseth is here to fool the working class to believe that somehow this is all for their benefit. Like these are good defense jobs and we're going to cut costs. Cut costs, you just doubled the budget. You've doubled the budget. I'll show you the ramifications of that in a moment and how that's going to cost Americans tremendously. They're saving them no money whatsoever, and I will show you why. Okay? These people are deceivers. They're propagandists. They're deeply dishonest, and they are so corrupt. They're so corrupt. And this guy is a charlatan that has no peers whatsoever. Hegseth.
All while their CEOs got rich. But today, President Trump's War Department is flipping this rigged system on its head. We're not tolerating delays in production or cost overruns anymore. We've pushed out the bureaucrats who've made these deals in the past and replaced them with the most talented negotiators in the private sector.
That's Steve Feinberg. There he is, folks. That's the guy who runs the Pentagon right there. Steve Feinberg. Mr. Defense Hedge Fund. Okay. Raking in the profits. So what's Hegseth going to do if there's cost overruns? Are you going to yank the contract? Let's say they work for a year or two. Lockheed Martin or Boeing or whatever, Northrop Grumman, and there's an overrun. Are you going to sack them and then start the program over and delay the project another 2 years? And then you've just wasted all of that money. What are you going to do? Sue them in court to recoup the money that you didn't get because there was cost overruns or production was delayed or because of some various reasons? That's the reality of this business. It's bloated. It's expensive. It's never on budget. That's the nature of the material you're working with. He's not explaining to you the real world. He's pitching a sort of adolescent level, stupid, happy clappy little video that anybody could produce with an off-the-shelf app. I know the app. I'm pretty sure I know the app, or at least one of the apps that would produce this video, and I could produce one of these on Monday tomorrow if I want. It's so cheap, so lowbrow. Who is running this White House? Honestly, it's not serious. This is a joke. This deserves to be pastiched, and it probably will be.
A group of businessmen so elite, they've been rightly dubbed Deal Team 6. It's simple.
Deal Team 6. So the convergence of government and corporate interests. That's fascism. Right there. So America, Benito Mussolini would be jealous.
We're putting the American taxpayer first by offering you a better deal.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
We now move at the speed of business, not bureaucracy. Now, when a defense company expands its production to sell more equipment to the U.S. military, they pay the bill.
No, they're going to inflate the price, Pete, in order to cover their forward investment and to mitigate their own risk. Unless you're going to bring all these defense contractors as public companies or run them as state-run companies underneath your big, bloated, fat Department of War. So effectively, you're going to make a Soviet, communist-style military-industrial complex with an internal economy and internal supply chain, because that sounds like the direction you're going, Pete. Do you realize what you're saying here? You're saying that there can't be any free market in the defense or the war business. That's what you're saying. Because that's the reality of, that's the ultimate conclusion of where this logic that you're putting out here, if you want to call it that, that's where it's heading. You're just ignoring all the realities of the real world and the markets and the unpredictability and the fact that, I mean, honestly.
They pay for new factories, assembly lines, manufacturing plants, not the taxpayer.
And would you, if you're, listen, I'm not advocating for the military industrial complex, but knowing Donald Trump and what a shyster, a crook, someone who changes his mind, like literally when he goes to the toilet and by the time he comes out, he's changed his mind. You know that whatever deal you have with this government, it's not worth the paper it's written on. And he'll say, well, I've got a buddy who makes it cheaper over here. So, you're fired. That's what that's what Trump does. Or he doesn't pay the bill. Do you guys know the U.S. Coast Guard? That is a branch of the U.S. military. It's going to have to close down because under the Trump administration, they stopped paying for their bills. They're not paying suppliers because the Trump administration's basically lowballing all of their financial obligations. That's what Trump did when he was a businessman in New York. He was notorious for not paying his bills. He'd make fake excuses. Someone would do all the work in one of these buildings or casinos or one of these lavish homes or offices, and he just turn around after they did all the work and say, I'm not paying. I don't like the way the corners finished on that table there. The baseboard. It's not very good, is it? It's not very good. It's terrible. Quite frankly, this is garbage. I've heard so many stories. So Trump is running the government like that, and you're starting to see it break down. So again, I'd like to see half of what Hegseth is doing here actually materialize in the real world.
In exchange, we're giving these companies steady, long-term orders for exactly what our warriors need. And defense.
So steady, long-term orders. So that's going to cost more money. So they just want to ramp up production preparing for World War III? That's what this is. And that budget, that 1.5 trillion, now 1.7 trillion, that's not enough, folks. That's not enough. 2 trillion next year. 2.
Companies are making things in higher volumes, much more quickly while keeping their prices flat.
And he had aircraft carriers on there. You can't build one of those ships in that's going to take you 10 years.
These companies fail to
10 years. And here he is with the threats. If the bigwigs fail to deliver, this is what we're going to do. Listen to this. This is peachy here. Deal Team 6, Steve Feinberg, the guy blowing the smoke. That is Steve Feinberg.
Should these companies fail to deliver, we will hold them accountable and bring in new companies who will.
Oh, so we're going to bring in the tech bros. Did you see that? The suits are out. Now it's the puffy vest, the North Face fleece guy. My God. You're going to bring in the tech bros. They're going to do it cheaper. And that's going to cause another 3 years in delay. Oh, my gosh. Someone called Joseph Stalin. Sort this out.
Speed, volume, and fiscal responsibility. It's common sense.
Whoa. Fiscal responsibility. That one. Remember that, folks. Fiscal responsibility. Mark that word. I'll come back to that in a minute. We'll let Gelhead finish here.
And it's what the American taxpayer demands. This War Department has made the move from bureaucracy to business. Over the next month, we will release a series of videos that highlight how President Trump's historic $1.5 trillion defense budget will make a generational investment in our arsenal of freedom. This investment will secure and protect the homeland and ensure America's military remains the most lethal fighting force on earth for generations to come. We're going to spend every dollar of that money responsibly.
You're going to spend every dollar, all right. Every last dollar America has. You're going to run this country into the ground. That's what you're going to do. That's what you were hired to do, to bankrupt America, destroy its reputation. And, well, someone's going to thank you down the road, Pete, you and Donald, for accelerating the collapse of the U.S. empire, because this is what happens to empires that are dying. They do exactly what you're doing here. Fiscal responsibility. Arsenal of freedom. The propaganda is legendary. Arsenal of freedom. This is just beautiful. This is beautiful. So, thank you, Pete. And again, get yourself a suit that fits. This guy's unbelievable. Anyway, that's Pete Hegseth, the self-styled Secretary of War. Bring him back up here. So let's talk about fiscal responsibility. That's the key word, isn't it? That's the buzzword. Let's focus on that. Fiscal responsibility. Let's give Pete a little lesson in economics, shall we? Here's the Treasury Secretary, George Soros' banker, the globalist who Trump selected. Trump's run by the globalists, just so you know. Trump is a globalist. Trump is a globalist tool. So he had Soros' banker he appointed to basically run U.S. foreign policy and to run the U.S. economy into the ground. This is Scott Bessent. The U.S. Treasury will have to borrow $2 trillion this year just to continue functioning. That means that every month of the current fiscal year, the government will have issued more than $166 billion in debt per month. Per month. That's fiscal responsibility. That's to pay for this bloated military budget. Mainly. That is the main overhead. Is Pete Hegseth and his happy clappy videos and his forever wars. The U.S. has to go into debt. The experts, that's Fortune magazine. Okay. The real figure for the first year of the Trump administration will likely be, or this financial year will be $2.5 trillion over budget. $2.5 trillion over budget. That means that the interest payments on the U.S. federal debt exceed the revenue coming in each month, each year. That means under Trump has bankrupted the United States officially. It was approaching this for a while. Trump has made it a reality. And the thing that has bankrupted the U.S. and will now trigger increased inflation is the military, bloated military, quote, Department of War budget. That thing Pete Hegseth is claiming is fiscally responsible. So that's it, folks. Fiscal responsibility. So when you're 2.5 trillion in underwater and you're overspending as a government, 2.5 trillion. You're in debt more than you're more than not just the money you're taking in taxes and revenue and whatnot, but you're just now covering the interest payments on the old debt. So that means you're going to have to borrow more. That means we could have next year $3 trillion over budget. $3 trillion. Okay? And by Trump's last year in his term, $4 trillion over budget. 200 billion, 250 billion per month. $250 billion per month. That's where this is heading if you actually look at the actuaries and you follow the graphs on this. That is just because the cost of servicing the debt is more than the U.S. can ever bring in. And the tariff war has failed. He's had to cancel it. He's had to pay back the tariffs. That was Scott Bessent, this genius here, George Soros' banker that Trump selected to ruin the economy. These people, folks, there's nothing good here. There's nothing good here. These people have run the country into the ground. And who's going to stop them? That's the question. Who's going to stop them? It's pretty incredible. So that means there will be inflation, and it's going to increase. That's a tax. That means the money in your pocket, in your bank account, if you're making 40, 50, 60,000, 100,000, whatever you think you make per year, with inflation in the U.S., which the government will work hard to downplay the figure, but the people on the street know the reality because they pay for it in the supermarket, in exorbitant prices of food and everything else. That's an inflation tax. That is a hidden tax. The government imposes that tax on the people. It's a stealth tax. When they are over budget by these amounts, As we learned during COVID, it creates inflation, and it means that you might, if you make 100,000 a year this year, next year, that's not 100. You're still going to get taxed on 100, but you're really only making the equivalent of last year's $80,000 a year in terms of your spending power. That 100 will get you less if you can hold on to your job or whatever your earnings, because there's going to be a contraction in the economy, because this is what they've done. They've created conditions for stagflation. That means a stagnant economy, tightening liquidity, higher inflation. That's the Trump economy. And this started under Trump's first term because he got the bright idea that we should shut the country down and lock everything down because of COVID, and then force everybody to take vaccines, which he removed all the regulations of the pharmaceutical companies. That was Donald Trump, Operation Warp Speed. Donald Trump is a globalist tool. The globalists love Trump because they're able to do things with Trump in such an accelerated way that they couldn't do with anybody else. That's why he's in power. Trump is a globalist. Look at his chief banker here. That is George Soros's banker. That's who is running Trump's economy. Soros's banker. Folks, you've been hoodwinked. America has been more than hoodwinked. So anyway, there's Bassett. So I'll just, I had to sketch that out to you. It's serious. Inflation is a serious thing. And you walk into a grocery store in America, you're lucky. You can get a bag out of there, regular shopping bag. You're lucky if it's under $40. Under $40 is a normal shopping bag. What do you get for that? Nothing. It's I could show you some numbers and statistics now, but we'll leave it for later. Anyway, that's the reality, people. That's the reality. So when you see these happy clappy videos from Pete Hegseth, show him some love in the comment section, please. He just is waiting for it. He needs it. He needs your encouragement to keep making more happy clappy videos. People. So just quickly, we're going to cut to break in a moment. Geopolitically speaking, Putin names condition for meeting with Zelensky. Now, I'm putting a couple of RT articles up here specifically for the benefit of those in the UK. Now, let me check, but it is possible. So RT was banned in the UK for years. So the government didn't want people to see any of the journalism in Moscow because they were scared that the facts might be different than their own mainstream media. So they banned RT. And as far as we know, in the last couple of weeks, you can now access RT. You can access RT in the UK. So they've effectively, quietly, without announcing it, lifted the ban. But I thought I'd throw it up here as well, just because it will upset some people that I'm using RT as a reference. But when it comes to this topic, where are you going to get better coverage? Nowhere. So Vladimir Putin said, I will meet with Zelensky. I will meet with Zelensky. I will meet with that little vaudevillian demon from Kiev, the tripod piano virtuoso. I will meet with him. But here's the condition. I will only meet with Zelensky, and I will meet in a third-party country, whatever it takes. Putin says, I'm up for it. However, there's a caveat. There's a condition. One condition. Just one. Obviously, Zelensky's got to be clean. But besides that, sober, clean, compos mentis. But besides that, he said that only if there is a agreement, a political settlement on paper with a long-term settlement ready to be signed. And at that moment, they will meet face-to-face. Pick your country or your venue. Obviously, both sides got to agree on it. Then and only then. So do you see what Putin did here? This is a classic chess move by the Russians. He knows that Zelensky, as long as Zelensky is president in Ukraine, that he will never, ever agree to any political settlement with Russia. He will never be able to give any concessions to Russia. As long as that little sprite is still in charge, the little green man, as long as he's in there, there's going to be no such document produced, agreed on, that's ready for a signing ceremony. It's not going to happen. The Nazis won't allow it in Ukraine. The Europeans won't allow it. The British MI6 won't allow it. He's screwed. It's not going to happen. So that's Russia's way of saying, the door's open, but we know you're not coming through. So we're just going to get on with it and watch you collapse gradually. So there it is, folks. There it is. So to another clever move by Mr. Putin. And this one is interesting. Again, this up on RT. Go to RT.com. They've got some pretty powerful analysis pieces up there. Obviously, if you're not reading this website, you're probably going to be well behind on a lot of stuff, especially things that are happening in the Balkans, Russia, Ukraine, Eastern Europe, all that. Okay, so this is Victory Day, obviously celebrations. It's a big day in the Russian schedule. People are forbidden from honoring the victory, how Europe is erasing the memory of Nazism's defeat. So German officials are refusing to acknowledge publicly that the Red Army liberated Berlin or Germany from the Nazi regime. So what you have is interesting. You've got Germans now that are, because of their just the visceral hate of Russia that they've been inculcated with, that they're being paid to have by American money. And this is a process that's been going on for a couple of years now, since von der Leyen became the head of the EU, namely, but they don't want to say publicly or give credit to Soviet Red Army for liberating Germany from the Nazis, because they're sort of nostalgic in a way. This new breed of Germans led by Friedrich Merz, they're sort of nostalgic for the Nazi days, for the Reich days. They're kind of looking back and, you know, it with a type of endearment, if you will, in the past. And it won't be long till they start fetishizing some of the iconography. I mean, you're already seeing it sort of happen. They're kind of running with the Iron Cross and some of these symbols in a big way now with the German Air Force and shipping some of this to Ukraine. Obviously, the Ukrainian Nazis love it, love all this. They love the fact that they're getting German equipment with Iron Crosses on it, Leopard tanks and whatnot. You know, which to me is just weird. But anyway, they're Germans, and that's how they want to sort of manage their legacy, I guess. But they're very pro-war. They're ramping up. They're instituting a draft. They're going into massive debt to build up the German military for what? A war with Russia, we're told, in 2027 or 2028 or whatever. And conscripting people they got to, you know, bolster the ranks. I think they got to get from 160,000 combat ready soldiers up to 260,000. So they're having a draft. I mean, in what universe is this a good idea, especially for a country like Germany with their history? Anyway, they're sort of tilting back into the fascist zone. Merz, BlackRock fund manager, it's about money for him, but also I think he's got a screw loose. Many agree. So, but they're wanting to rewrite history. This is the most insidious and frightening thing of all. When this stuff starts happening, you got to be worried, folks. You really got to get worried at this point. That is a major sort of telltale sign of something that you just want to, it's just bad news when they start rewriting history. So to suit the war that's coming, or the war that they want to come. Okay. So, but we'll talk more about this guy, Greaser. We'll talk more about him. He's having all these unhinged outbursts. And his latest thing is Pete is getting into the UFO business. So we'll talk about that probably in the next segment of Overdrive with our colleagues at Alternate Current Radio. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We're going into Overdrive right now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for support. We'll get some of the comments in the comment sections. Our listeners are piling in there. Already see there's over 1,000 comments during the live stream. Thank you for these super chats as well. We'll try to highlight some of those. Thank you guys for your generosity and support. We'll be back in just a few minutes. In the meantime, enjoy the great music of the Real Anthem Band. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Cover in the dark, secret wars are waged, quiet army sabotage, bloody attention remains, global faces of a crime, a sleight of hand betrays. Something slept inside their hearts as explosions rage. The system breaks as truth increases. The grip on us and the world order ceases. Behind the mask, it's falling to pieces. What comes next? Have they lost all reason?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is episode 594 of this weekly omnibus news and analysis TV and radio program brought to you here at 21stcenturywire.com, also alternatecurrentradio.com. We're streaming out live on YouTube, on X, Rumble, Facebook Live, BitChute Live. You guys, if you're on the YouTube streams, I see quite a few of you on here, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know you guys are on here watching the program. Some of you might have forgot to like and subscribe to the program. If you can, guys, if you can just get in there and do that, it will help us to sort of push up through the algorithmic suppression. We've got so much physical support from people doing this for our content on our channel, that liking and subscribing, commenting, all of this stuff helps under the post, even after the show. But this helps to sort of break through the natural suppression, and we are finally, after years, getting people contacting us saying that our program is in their recommended feed on YouTube. I can't tell you that that's never happened. That has never happened. So that's just incredible. A big shout out to Uncle Hawes there. Great to see you finally get back. Yeah, we got the super chats. Thanks, Hawes. He's a legend. You'll be hearing more from him coming up soon as well. We just did a great piece with Hawes recently, which will be airing at some point in the future. But amazing. Look, we'll bring on our teammates right now. It's a good time to get into Overdrive here. And let's see, I'm going to bring onto the stage Bryan McClain, known as Hesher, host of the Boiler Room on ACR. Great to have you with us.
Good to be here, Patrick. I wore my Killer Clowns from Outer Space shirt today because I felt like it was appropriate. The whole first part of the show was the clown show. And now that Ruckus and I are going to be here, we can get to the outer space part.
Yeah, I like the background there. This take a look at that. Tell us what exactly is going on here. This is pretty serious stuff.
It is pretty serious stuff. You should bring Ruckus aboard so he can explain it to everybody.
Yeah, we'll bring on Adam Clark, known as Ruckus. Ruckus, we're admiring the welcome to the program. We're admiring the statue. Is this the new Statue of Liberty? What exactly is this monstrosity here?
So the future's representation of what was American Empire. As you can see, it's got a circa date, and that's usually got a start and an end date. So the country born 1776, and unfortunately, the way things are going, it would appear it's dying this year. I'm not sure. I wanted to do some hardcore research to try to figure out exactly when the quote-unquote empire that is America was born, but I'm sure conspiracy theorists and people who've dived into the secret societies and the great experiment in this, they would say it was probably always an empire from its very beginning. Unfortunately, if it was anything else than that, we, the people, sadly failed to bring it to where it should have been, because here we are. And I think that's a very good representation right there. And it is crumbling, it is dying. And the inspiration came simply from the title of your show today, Patrick.
That's right. These are the things that empires do when they're dying. Ruckus, the date would probably be 1896, after the Spanish-American War, and Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Riders, and that's when the U.S. started going outwards and taking stuff, basically, because that's what they needed to do. And then soon after that, they got the ultimate money printing machine installed in 1913 with the Federal Reserve Act, and then away on in the races they went in the global sweepstakes, and pretty much overtook and consumed everybody else.
Let's not forget the Corporations Act of 1870 as well, which set them up to be able to profit from all those things and from each and every one of our births.
Oh, that too. Yeah. The corporate persons, or the corporate fiction.
Yeah.
They're getting into a little bit of common law there. But okay, you guys, there's a couple of big, firstly, your comments on the first, anything we were covering in the opening segment. Did you like Pete's video?
Oh, I love Pete's video. It's great. I hope he makes more. Hey, Petey, You got to make more of those. You should definitely come to work a little bit earlier so the buzz is a little bit fresher. We like to see you kind of bouncing off the walls a little bit, and we love it. We absolutely love it when we can't even tell if it's an official. Wait, I almost said DOD. When it's an official DOW, right? DOW release. Oh wow, is it? Is it not? I love that part where I see something and I have to stop and go, "Is this real? Is this AI? Is this an official White House thing? Did this come from a propagandist?" You know, it's just like I got to rattle through all that stuff. I love doing that, man. So keep putting out the hits. Keep making them look like something from the HR department in 2010. That'd be great if you could keep putting these out. We're really learning a lot, and we appreciate all the savings that you're passing on to us.
Yeah, especially
great.
video production. They're doing it all on a phone app. So I mean, look at this. Look at this thing.
Broken Pentagon bureaucracy was doing the same thing.
It's like kind of a HR video from like 2010, isn't it? It's just it's so cheesy. This is just look at this thing. I mean, it's so lowbrow. I mean, it's like, would you want yourself to be made fun of that easily that you would put something like this out? Because, I mean, these people have lost it. Do they understand?
The video looks suspiciously made by AI, a lot similar to what you might get from one of the Google products that I've been messing around with. You've probably seen YouTube videos that look just like this, that are just normal people, just a dude sitting in his mom's basement prompting on his computer. But this is a big budget propaganda video, courtesy of Pete Hegseth to sell you on Lockheed Martin and their buddies, right?
Yeah.
What a joke.
And now look on this, Hesher. I don't know if you heard my commentary. Now there's Steve Feinberg there. It's so funny. That looks exactly like Steve Feinberg, by the way. That's like Israel's military industrial guy running our Pentagon, the deputy head. Runs a massive defense hedge fund or owned one. But he's saying, Hesher, there'll be no overruns and all this other stuff. And that we're not going to pay for the forward investment to ramp up production. The government won't take any of the risk. All that risk is going to be on the company. I mean, that's not going to happen.
No.
I mean, it's just, what is he saying? That we're going to have a Soviet system where the state owns everything? Because that's the only way this is possible. What are your thoughts?
I kind of think that's what he is saying. I think that might be exactly what he's saying. But I don't even know if they could get their crap together to actually own the military industrial complex. It's too much of its own, octopus at this point. It's its own Hydra. It has, lobbyists that are in the Friends of Trump, in the Friends of Jeffrey group, all this kind of stuff, in the Friends of political Zionist groups. So no, I don't think much is going to change there. And he's completely pulling America's leg by suggesting that something's going to change, or suggesting that, the U.S. government's going to hold the military industrial complex contractors to task for being over budget. I'm sorry. If that was the case, maybe we should start looking back at the F-35 program and just start litigating that one and see how much money. Who was that? Boeing or Northrop or Lockheed? There's a guy in our chat that says he was a Lockheed engineer. Maybe he could answer some questions for us. But like, that program was like a decade or more behind schedule. It was bazillions of dollars over budget. And what they produced in the end, once they finally got to the end after many failures and doing incredibly unscientific things, like forgetting that, they needed to check the composition of the actual runway on an aircraft carrier to make sure this thing could take off without melting the deck. That's something that actually happened while they were developing these things. And then some would argue it's underdelivered, because you compare it to the modern Sukhoi program, and it arguably does not stack up. I know that's going to hurt some people's feelers, but if you really look into that, at least that's the impression I've been given as a non-fighter jet pilot.
Yeah. So, and this part of the cartoon was funny, because he's basically saying, if the fat cats, he's basically saying, if the fat cats aren't going to, he's like, There you go. Steve Feinberg's blowing smoke at all the old military industrial guys. It's to me hilarious that this cartoon character literally is exactly like Steve Feinberg. I'll bring up a Feinberg photo, but he's saying if you guys don't play ball the way we want, we're going to replace you with Matt Walsh, Professor Chang, and some other dude. like what it, and so it's like the DEI crowd or whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be tech bros, right? That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like we're going to find tech bros.
Billionaires in different suits, different costumes.
Yeah, billionaire tech bros here. We're going to get Peter Thiel to sort it out for us, and speed, volume, fiscal responsibility. So this is just like they're just saying war economy, war. That's it, and they doubled the military budget. They've doubled it, and then we're going in now. We're 2.5 trillion on schedule, 2.5 trillion over budget this year. So what's next year going to be? What's 2027? It's going to be 3 trillion over budget. This does not stop. What does that mean for inflation? Sky's the limit, guys. Sky's the limit. I mean, I can bring up. I'll bring up some food prices here. I've got them in front of me. I mean, you can tell me, you guys, what you think about the grocery store situation, but $2.49 a pound of potatoes, $5.99 for a pound of tomatoes. Holy mackerel! $9.99 for a pound of chuck roast, round steak, or ground beef. That's not exactly top draw, is it? But that means for a pot roast dinner for a family of 5, you're getting up towards $100. That's cooking at home. Now, I'm sorry, but there's just not everybody could afford that. I'm sorry. Most people, I would think, in the country can't. And that will get worse this year and next at the rate these guys are going, because that's the thing driving up inflation. It's defense. It's one of the main line items that's pushing the deficit up, and this is driving inflation. That's what drives inflation. It's deficit spending. If you're in the military budget, or if you're a government employee, or you're in the military industrial business, or you're somewhere at the beginning of that food chain, that money's worth more when you get it. By the time it recirculates in the economy, if at all, it's not worth the same. So this is, I don't see how they can sell this as a working class thing, or we're going to hold those, Pete Heck says, we're going to hold those greedy corporate CEOs to account. I'm just laughing. This is the Trump administration talking here. This is just too much.
It's insane, man. I mean, the last time I looked at the budget right after they passed the DOW budget this last time, it was like $860 billion. And now all of a sudden, and that's not including all the unaccounted for monies. Like there's pretty much endless pools of money floating around digitally in crypto scams, floating around quote unquote legitimately in NGO scams and MIC scams, the lobbyist scams. I mean, it's ridiculous. There is so much black bag money floating around. You look at like Langley. I don't even know if they have to report what their budget is. Whatever their budget is probably just brain melting, and leads to things some would argue like we saw on 9/11, where entire buildings have to be taken out just to get rid of records. So, at this point, and also we talked about on Boiler Room the other night, Trump's comments this week about, crude oil going potentially to $300 a barrel.
Yeah.
That reality hasn't even been modeled out by financial experts. That's pretty much like a end of society scenario, or end of, the petrodollar scenario, if you will. So it's like you add that fence that you just described of, the deficit around our economy, then all this wartime stuff, and on top of that, the one thing that gets stuff from point A to point B is going to become unobtainium potentially, and we're supposed to be okay with that and do the happy clappy dance when we see Petey's HR video about how he's saving us money.
Keg's breath. DT hallucination. It is a bit of a hallucination what they're putting up there. There's just no there's no way.
Parts of it, the cartoon part with the guy smoking the cigar reminded me, it belonged probably more. It's a parody of itself. Like, I keep thinking of that song by System of the Down, Cruel in Denial, where the cruel regulators, as we're smoking cigarro, whatever that song is. It might be the name of the song, Cigarro. But like I picture that kind of a song making fun of this kind of scenario, but this guy is presenting it as if, hey, this is cool. Not a lot of diversity going on there either, Pete. What's up with that? I mean, you don't want your detractors or critics to accuse you of, working for the interests of a bunch of wrinkly old white guys. But you're going to present a bunch of wrinkly old white guys as the savior. Wait a minute. It's a little bit on the nose there, I think. I'm actually far less concerned about all of the problems coming with the economy and all the bad things as I am about their solutions for these problems, which they are already, they got them ready to go. They're ready and happy to just crash the economy because they have a new version of it ready to go, a shiny new digital blockchain backed. It's a central bank digital currency. I don't care what they call it, and they will call it something cool. They'll be like, it's the freedom dollar, freedom money, and you'll have anything but freedom in exchange for it. So I'm on the fence about whether or not things could get so bad in this country in particular, because that's what the elites fear. Because historically speaking, when things get so bad, the citizenry uprise against their government because they hold them accountable and responsible for what has happened. So I think that they want to let it crash, maybe for like 24 hours, or make it seem like it crashed. They're far more focused on, we're the saviors. We're going to fix everything. Everything's going to be great. So I don't think we're going to witness ourselves here in America, people dropping dead on the street because they're starving to death. Unfortunately, though, the only reason they won't be starving to death is because they're eating bugs and lab-grown meats. There's bread and circuses coming, guys. I'll share those with you. It just coincidentally, Chris Morrow 60 here. Iran are doing better with their F-5s than that's 30 less of a plane, right? To the F-35s. Exactly. Hegseth and Trump said that we destroyed their Air Force, but we just found out this week that an Iranian F-5 shot down a U.S. F-15 in a dogfight. So it's embarrassing on one hand that an F-5 from like 1968 or whatever would shoot down an F-15, but they weren't supposed to have an Air Force, we were told. Trump said it was eliminated, obliterated.
It was destroyed.
It's destroyed.
What happened?
Their Navy that's shooting at our destroyers, that was destroyed as well, we were told, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's still, and the missiles, they're down to 18%. We found out this week that Iran has 70% of their missile stock. They've only expended 30%, and they're building more. So it's just the reporting's not good there. Anyway, so you guys, bread and circuses. First thing, Dana White. There's going to be a UFC fight on the White House South Lawn. Have you seen that?
What? No.
They're doing a lottery for free tickets. So they're doing MMA fights on the White House lawn. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing for America?
It's the Camacho regime. I mean, we've arrived. If we're doing MMA fights, we're an M60 away from Camacho.
I'm not kidding. They're putting out flyers this week.
Showed off the championship belt, and somebody pointed out that it's American taxpayer dollars that probably paid for that sucker.
And if you want to get a free ticket, just buy a raffle ticket with your Trump meme coin, and all the proceeds go to a good cause, which is the Trump family. So just so you know.
Right. And the raffle tickets are only going to be sold at Mar-a-Lago, so you know the crowd that'll be there.
All proceeds go to the post-administration benevolent fund, the Trump Family Benevolent Trust. Make sure the family's looked after afterwards. Or he should be raising money for his legal fund right now. So I think he's going to need that. Wait, I think someone's joined in here. Oh no, that's Ruckus there. I thought we had someone in the green room. Let me just pull Pete off of the video off there as he's taking up space on our dashboard. Okay, guys, this is what I really wanted to talk about here. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, cheers. The Chuck 3R, thank you very much. Powerful. You know that's what we do. So Pete is basically losing it. He's attacking the press. I don't know if you've seen him. He's very irritated. That's what happens after a few drinks, working on a hangover and whatnot. He should get a bulk discount on hair gel. Gavin Newsom's complaining because there's a lack of supply in the market now because of Pete. But you guys, did you see this? Okay. Epstein files. Nope, you're not getting those. No More Wars. You're not getting that either. So Pete is bringing you this. This is the next thing here, which is the Department of War. Get ready for it, guys. Here we go. The Department of War is in lockstep with President Trump to bring you unprecedented transparency regarding our government's understanding of the unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs, whatever it's called, UFOs. These files, hidden behind classification, have long fueled justified speculation. And it's the time American people see it for themselves. This is Pete Hegseth. This is under the Department of War. They're putting the UFO stuff under here. This release of declassified documents demonstrates the Trump administration's earnest commitment to unprecedented transparency. United States Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Okay, guys, I had to peruse through the PDFs. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know if you have, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Let's take a look at the PDFs. Let's get it. So this is what Pete has dropped. This is the big UFO drop, guys, right? So get ready to have your mind blown.
I want to believe, Patrick. I want to believe.
Get ready to have your mind blown, guys. Here we go. You guys ready? You ready for this? This is just going to be too much to bear. Hold on to your hats, folks. We've got access to Pete's UFO vault. I'm going to pull this up on screen here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. You see that?
Ooh.
You guys get ready to be impressed. The naysayers, people that have been, we got some stuff in here. What's this?
What year is this from?
This is 1966. So basically, they what I think they've emptied out all J. Edgar Hoover's old filing cabinets. Scan the documents here. This is from Levi J. Dow from Goffston, New Hampshire. This is a real bombshell here. Your letter on August 31st with enclosures received. In response to your inquiry, this bureau, strictly an investigative agency, the federal government, neither makes evaluations nor draws conclusions. That's the cover letter. Signed, J. Edgar Hoover, guys, right? See that? J. Edgar Hoover right there.
Must be official. Here we go.
Yeah, it's on the mimeograph paper. You see the ink. Remember the mimeograph machines? I do.
Right, little carbon copy behind everything.
That's right. That's right. So here we go, true copy. So, dear sir, yep. So basically, it's the random people sending letters to the FBI about things they think they saw. Okay, fine. That's kind of interesting. Is it bomb? And we've got flyers from UFO conventions in the 60s, guys, which is pretty cool. So this is all publicly available stuff that's supposedly classified, according to the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Okay, let me see. We got UFO flyers from the UFO conference, which to me is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into UFOs, this is all interesting. If you're an enthusiast, it's very interesting.
But you probably already have all of this in your book collection in various books if you're a ufologist.
Yeah, and look at this.
I do.
The London Free Press, tracked by radar, UFO sites. So these are publicly available press clippings, which you can get on microfiche or in some cases online. But they're also in the FBI's extensive UFO files. 16s tell of chased by buzzing lighted UFOs. I guess this is a alternative newspaper from London or somewhere here. Maybe it's in the U.S. London, Connecticut. Maybe.
Right.
London, Ontario. Okay, could be Canadian. Okay, so Canadian alternative newspapers. That's pretty cool. Look, I mean, Wichita. Flying saucer visits Wichita. This is just earth-shattering stuff. And these are hyper-realistic photos here. You guys just want to bring these up? Are you guys impressed? Tell me if you're not impressed by now.
They're better than the photos we get these days.
I mean, look at those. Pete is holding nothing back, you guys. I just want you to know. I like this dreidel down here.
Yep.
In the lower right-hand corner. It's not exactly.
I can't see the fishing wire at all.
It's not exactly Independence Day, but these are for 1960s. These were advanced dreidels. So, I mean,
notice that there's no redacted bars like we saw in the last files release, right?
And do you know why that is, Ruckus?
I could venture a guess. Because
of this president's unwavering commitment to transparency. That's why.
No, but you're going to have a very hard time convincing me that everything we're looking at here was not already available to the public in the form of some sort of stock image footage that's already been used on all the UFO conspiracy documentaries and on the History Channel, Ancient Aliens, and they just they called up the History Channel and said, "Hey, send us 12 of your best photos and make it look cool. We're gonna do the alien thing." Yeah,
this is
garbage. It's fake.
This is from Pete's classified UFO trove here. This is a cartoon, Brother Juniper, by Friar Justin McCarthy and Len Reno. And they're saying it's the friar there and the monk. They're reading. They're out on their deck chairs reading their papers here, and they're saying these flying saucer stories are getting more ridiculous every day. so this is this is from the annals of the FBI's top secret. Look at this. It's all here, folks. I mean, look at those ones. These ones. They're kind of interesting, these flying saucers. Some look like hexagons, slightly round. I mean, very compelling, very authentic. What do you think?
It doesn't look like a lens flare on a camera at all.
Absolutely not. And here's a schematic of what somebody believes. Yes. And that's obviously scale drawing. So, I mean, Pete is just not holding anything back, and that's why he's all about the people. Our right to know, right? So, yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's just endless here. More letters about people writing the FBI saying, "I saw a flying saucer." This is great stuff.
Okay, so there was a user in the comments a little bit up in the thread here that said something to the effect of 90% of UFO sightings from the public are people that were on SSRIs or LSD. And it made me chuckle because I've seen a number of non-human entities and unidentified flying objects, but I rarely tell these stories because I was tripping balls. And most people won't buy your story if you're tripping balls when you got one like that. I hate to say it, kids, but and
absolutely.
I like many of those people, will stick to my story, even though I was tripping balls. But I certainly wouldn't be writing a letter to J. Edgar Hoover and then expecting the public to think that like I proved something 60 years later.
Absolutely. I mean, how can you explain to somebody when you see someone walking out of a 7-Eleven eating a donut, and that donut actually has a jaw and it ends up engulfing the person right there on the pavement, like Little Shop of Horrors? I mean, how do you explain that to somebody?
You can't call anyone. You can't tell your parents. You can't call the cops. Like, all those equal a bad day for you.
Yeah, literally a donut ate somebody right outside 7-Eleven. And it's just, these things go unreported for those reasons that you've stated, Hesher. Of course, that's just common sense. Flying saucers are real. This is the Amalgamated Flying Saucer Clubs of America, based in Los Angeles. So again, this is all part of Pete's big UFO dump, you guys. So it's full of good stuff, and we're so happy Pete has done this for us. Thank you, Pete. Not holding anything back here. Again, your letter from October 9th has been received, said the FBI. So they're the correspondence with people sending letters.
It's nice.
And
They used to reply. That's pretty sweet.
Yep. Here we go. This is to the director of the FBI. This is from, who's this from? This is from Mr. Paul Wright. And he probably wrote this in good faith, but he said, for the last 20 years, the United States has been having an increased problem of the UFO or flying saucers, and nothing is being done about it as it should be. The Air Force has maintained that the sightings have been gas, light, weather, etc. But by talking to some of the people that have seen UFOs, I'm wondering if the Air Force isn't lying. This is what Mr. Wright's saying to J. Edgar Hoover here in this letter, which Pete has made totally public. Right? Everything is exposed. It's all transparent. I'm not the only one wondering this. So this is pre-internet. Obviously, this was the internet. It was letters, newsletters, papers.
Suspicious-looking manila envelopes were a big red flag. It was like that one you showed on page 1 was just the quintessential, like, UFO era manila envelope that is eyes only.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I'm not saying it's not interesting from a certain level, historical research, just in phenomenon, but there is no information in here proving the existence of UFOs. And I've checked some of these PDFs, and it's just more of this slop here. So my question is, you guys, where are the Bigfoot files?
I would be much more interested in those. Last time I looked into those, it was meth heads faking being Bigfoot, killing people who tried to invade their meth cooks and their dope grows. So that's the last I heard on Bigfoot. There's if that intrigues anyone, there's a great documentary. I think it's on the Hulu service. It's called Sasquatch. It's fantastic. It's got journalism. It's got intrigue. It's got cryptozoology. It's got tweakers in Northern California. It's super fun. But yeah, Bigfoot would be more fun. People in the Discord are dropping Bigfoot riding Loch Ness Monster. And, the interesting thing to me is when we did Boiler Room, Adam read out Trump's post on it, which, Hegseth was following up on. And how did Trump end his post, Adam? And how does seeing the files make you feel?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but he did end it the way he ends all his posts. He said, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." But before that, he went on his long rant about how awesome and great he is, and nobody else would do what he's doing by being so open and transparent and giving us all this good stuff, as evidenced by what Patrick was just sharing here with everybody. And then he says, "Have fun." He's like, this could be the most earth-shattering news ever in the history of mankind, and here it is. I'm giving it to you. Have fun.
Have fun.
But there's nothing there, and there's no answers, and there's no there, and I'm like, looking at what you were just looking at again. This is just a rehash of the same stuff that has always been available. This is just the ufologists already know all this stuff. We've already seen it on the documentaries. There's no new there. So who is this for? Why did they do this? Because they do these things on purpose. So did they do this to be so obvious? We're literally giving you nothing. Do they want the ufologists to be pissed off at the government and start Naruto running Area 51 again? I'm so confused.
Well, who's the audience? I mean, it's the drooling remnant.
Do they even care? I mean, I've been hearing stories that just normal people out and about that you're running into, the postmaster delivering your mail, the lady bagging your groceries. It's like, did you hear about those aliens? Oh, that's so fake. I'm like, again, who is the real audience for this? It makes no sense.
Exactly. Well, I mean, anyway, go. You guys go ahead, and I mean, I got the link up on my Twitter feed somewhere if you want to find it, but. Or go to Pete Hegseth's X feed if you can bear, if you can bear that. Anyway, it's mildly interesting. Okay, all right, mildly interesting. But this was the best thing is Kim.com posted this immediately after. I thought was absolute class. We'll bring this up. Hold on for a second, but yeah, here we go. This was Kim.com. put this up immediately afterwards. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's got a UFO saying, release the Epstein files. So even the aliens are demanding it. Yeah, this administration has a PhD in three-card Monty. It is basically a three-card Monty presidency. That's kind of like what we're dealing with here. Deep fake Bigfoot. Yeah, the deep fakes. It's just about time for all that, isn't it?
How much do you want to bet, Patrick, if and when the aliens do land on the front lawn of the White House and introduce themselves to everybody, they will, first things out of their mouth will say, "We condemn Hamas."
That's right. Saw a UFO above the White House, released the Epstein files. Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn the aliens? Do you condemn? What if the aliens are terrorists? Oh, it's going to get complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
What if there's more than one faction of them? Oh, no.
Oh, here we go. It's getting some good ones coming in here. Michael Kennedy. The pyramids were a drive-through taco and McDonald's. Sort of like what you're getting with Trump. Yeah, okay, but Bigfoot is real. Okay, could be. It could be. We're not saying he's not. Oh, okay, so, listen, you guys. Now, the next thing, this has all come at a very, very pivotal time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, crop circles, stop it. Okay, this has all come at a very pivotal time, and that is there's a new virus. A new virus is on the scene. Have you talked about this? Have you guys covered it? I'm working on the marketing for this. Obviously, I'd like to get the contract with the WHO for the hantavirus. Any governments that want to work on a fear campaign, we're available for hire. Obviously, we know what buttons to push. The hantavirus. So this is a rat-borne virus, incredibly rare, but suddenly human-to-human transmission. It's doing the rounds. It's getting traction. Do you think this has potential, guys? Do you think this can get to the level of a pseudo fake pandemic? What do you think?
Well, like sometimes a band will come along and, they're highly influenced by a really popular band and, they're pretty good at doing it. They kind of follow the same, structure. Sometimes this happens with politicians, like look at Barack Obama and then look at Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's totally doing the Barack Obama, worship band sort of thing. So yeah, I think hantavirus, it's out there. It's running around in the underground circles right now. It might gain some popularity. It's got the all the hallmarks of a great global pandemic, right? It only transfers in a very unlikely logistical way. It has been involved in different alleged gain of function studies. It's been listed on page 33 of some report as a side effect of certain other things that have been injected into people. It traveled the globe in 48 hours, around the globe. Rare, logistically impossible thing to circle the world and show up in multiple variants in multiple places. So, it's trying to kick off its world tour, and they've got a PCR test for it that can detect variants. Of course, that's not a diagnostic, but we don't need to go into that. So yeah, I mean, it's like they've got similar management. They've got a good drummer. They might go places with Hanta.
It's kind of got that Diamond Princess ruckus. You remember the cruise ship during COVID? The Diamond Princess had all the average age was 80 or something, and they kept the thing quarantined for a couple of months or whatever it was, and some people died or whatever. But so it's got that kind of cruise ship. We've seen these patterns before with the COVID, and this one, as Hesher said, it's much more exotic. But can it be mainstreamed? Can we get mass adoption on this virus? Can we get it to spread more?
They're testing it. I don't think it will. I really don't think it's that level. But I think to the right people, it will do just the news is enough to have the effect. But they are playing out that Hollywood style. Like right now, the news this morning, I was looking at it. They're setting up this how they're going to get these 147 passengers off the cruise ship. And it was this big, long, intense article about how can we do it? Because we're only capable of doing this on a small ship in this place where we're at. Like, we're not used to this sort of thing. Like, it's so goofy. It's like everything else. It's just so goofy, and it's just so like it seems so fake, and people seem so unwilling to accept it. To me, it seems like something different. It's got to have all the hallmarks of the previous thing, but I think what they want to do with this one is they want to show the world that we can handle pandemics now. We learned our lessons. Right? Here's all we'll see the footage of them getting the passengers off, and like maybe one or two people will die, but like, we saved their lives because we did the right thing, and you did the right thing. The people in that town will probably have to lock down for 6 weeks or whatever it is. This one, by the way, has a 2-month long quarantine. So keep that in mind if they want to push this forward, because the 2 weeks thing is way out the window. And then what you said there, Hesher, about how it's just randomly popping up in other places already. That doesn't fit the story, because I think they really want people to think that it's going to come from, this is the origin, is this cruise ship thing. But I think that the people who are scared of it, I mentioned this on Boiler Room, they're the target audience. They'll run out. They've probably already asked their doctor for a miracle jab to help them with the hantavirus, and their doctor will have to tell them the sad news. Oh, there isn't one yet, sweetie. Oh, but the good news is that the people who made the other miracle juice have one coming for the hantavirus very soon. Don't you worry. In fact, that's what they've been working on since the last pandemic. So lucky for all of us, we'll have a solution ready to go, and it'll probably happen very quickly. So I think that's what it is. I think they're just going to be like, look, we didn't have to lock down the world this time. You know what I mean? So that's my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, some people like the comment on the beautiful blue eyes of our sort
that
of rat.
Graphic is fantastic. I said it right character. Away when I saw it on UK Columns, where you shared it the first time. It's great.
Yeah, we unveiled a little a virus sort of mascot called Hanty, just to make so we can do some happy clappy pandemic videos with Hanty. Get familiar with Hanty, and so he's already got his mask on.
He's gonna have a TikTok dance video before you know it.
Yeah, it's Coroni's sister, I guess you could say. But we're keeping it gender neutral just in case, non-binary. So we have a better chance for mass appeal there. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Another pandemic. I think it's a pretty good one. It's pretty serious. They're going to put some money behind this, I think. They're spending some money on the media campaign, so it's got potential. What do you guys think in the comments?
Also, one last thing to point out, because take it with what is this is good or bad? Does this mean that this is going to be the next one? There's a lot of weird symbology stuff with this, like involving 33, and I mean like a lot, more than usual. So that's usually a telltale sign of a giant Operation PSYOP kind of thing. So, there's that.
Yeah, all-inclusive virus. That's right, all-inclusive virus. So yeah, this will be, let me see. That's Henry Fonda. Oh my, what are you guys talking about? Latin meaning poison, toxin, virus, venom. Oof. Yes. Well, yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Clearly, a lot of money's gone into this, though. Both of these things, the UFO thing and the hantavirus thing, big media money's gone into them, and they're being used in certain ways. Like on Boiler Room, we looked at back to the ufology thing for a second here. There were like opinion pieces about what UFO disclosure means to global finance, and government sending letters to certain religious leaders saying, hey, get ready for how this might change, biblical origins or biblical history or stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, okay, guys, like when you start seeding, the dreaded mass media semi-tabloid sites with opinion pieces like that, and then little nudges from the government, to support the bullcrap PSYOP article, it does have an effect on the public.
But what do you guys think? Trump was the guy they used for COVID. I mean, he was president. He did the warp speed. He brought in the big pharma. He said how great they were. It'll be the greatest vaccine ever. That was Trump. And he was like, yeah, go for the lockdowns, shut the businesses down, put like 10 trillion on the balance sheet at the Fed.
He forced Dyson, the vacuum company, to make ventilators that were then, used.
Yeah,
To
General Motors as well.
Yep.
And do you know what? I did some research on the Diamond Princess thing, and 14 people supposedly died. Right? Obviously, you're talking about elderly age groups, so some had the flu. But I looked up that, I said, and this is what you do if you're using your brain. I put in, were sick people from the Diamond Princess put on ventilators? That's kind of a good question to ask, isn't it? Because I want to audit that death count of whatever it was, 14, and sure enough, almost all of them were put on ventilators. And guess what happened to people that were put in a chemically induced coma on ventilators? Many of them died. And they weren't that sick when they were put on the ventilator, but it was the COVID policy to put people, shove them on ventilators, shove a tube down their throat, and then put them into a chemically induced coma.
Yep.
So it's just a little detail, like
most of the people I've talked to that, I felt comfortable asking, or if they brought it up, that's told me they lost someone to COVID. That was, if I was comfortable enough and they were comfortable enough to go into the details, I did ask that. Almost every single one, that's how they lost them to COVID. The other ones were from things like, I'm not going to name the product, but there were certain products they were giving people, not just the jabby jib, but other ones.
Like remdesivir. Those
yeah,
types
there you go. That one.
That's been implicated by quite a few people have pointed that out. So that's
yeah, I've heard that a number of times.
Also, what you were mentioning about what Trump did in his first term, he has been doing in his second term, but in the name of AI and data centers. So he did he warp speeded the AI with the Project Stargate, and now we've seen talks how he's yanked the regulation, the states' rights to regulate AI themselves. Oh, you can't do that because this is a national security. So they're really So the robots, the drones, the AI, that's the new thing where he'll tap Kodak to, hey, stop making film cameras. We need you to make drones, stat, or whatever,
Have you guys seen Kevin O'Leary's data center in Utah? That's going to be like 400 something acres. And that's going to be like, it's going to require more power than the whole state of Utah. It's going to be the biggest. What on earth?
And what's already there is already used to be the biggest data center in the United States, and that was the NSA data center, which is still right there. So this thing is being built next to one that has already been there for a long time, collecting all of our data. And, I've said for this whole time, ever since I learned about that Utah install, the NSA one, they're just collecting it until they can actually use it. So they have, all digital communications basically in there. And they've been collecting them for decades, even going back to before we were on the internet. They had the AT&T scandal in 1997, where it was discovered there was a whole second pipeline that was recording over to Langley or something like that. So they've got audio recordings which have been digitized that hold probably everything from the 60s through up until the internet. And then from internet until now, they've got all that shit hiding over at the NSA Utah Center. And now they're going to build this enormous thing right next to that, or in the same state as that, which will connect to it. And guess what this does? It reads all the data that has been being stored up over there.
Can you say Skynet?
Yes. And then in Ohio, let's go to Ohio for a second. Utah, power center for the NSA and for Palantir. Ohio, we now have Ohio, Virginia, and Texas have the highest numbers of planned data centers. Ohio has like Chinese battery companies for electric vehicles there that are destroying farmland and destroying residential areas. These things are being put up all over the place. And in Ohio, Vivek Ramaswamy and his tech bro buddies, I can't remember which one it was, if it's Lucky or one of the other guys.
Lucky, and Anderall's in Ohio.
Anderall, thank you.
JD Vance is from Ohio.
JD,
that's Peter Thiel's mini-me.
And you know what they're building over there in one of their new things? It's not just a data center. They're building, forgive the sci-fi term, but they're building Terminators. They're building, war robots at scale, like an automotive factory.
Yeah, no, this is freaking insane. And the Utah data center, it's going to require more water, more fresh water than is available to the population of Utah. So my question is, where are they going to get that water?
They're going to steal it from Colorado. They're going to steal it from Idaho. They're going to steal it from other states. They're going to steal it from the very ground that their citizens live on.
I don't think they've thought this one through, have they?
Oh, wait a minute. Don't they want to, like, maybe we could just go, like, kidnap a world leader somewhere, or take their country and steal their water? How about that?
Yeah, let's go find a country that has a lot of water and just go kidnap.
This is why everyone wants Antarctica. It's full of ice, and ice is made of water. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
You can bury data centers in ice too, and you don't have to cool them so much.
Yep, it's better for the cooling. Absolutely. That's what's going on, folks. It seems like it's just a bad science fiction plot, people. But Midazolam, thank you very much. That's another one there. Remdesivir, Midazolam, thank you very much. Gogzy, yeah. Colorado built a new dam, but the water is radioactive. Oof, that's a little bit inconvenient. They neglected to tell people. Well, sometimes these details get overlooked, folks, especially if you're Native Americans.
A little radiation
boy
for you.
Yeah, let them eat silicone. I like that. The all-seeing eye. That's some good quality gallows humor right there, folks.
Yeah.
That's some good quality. Yeah, the Great Lakes would be a good choice. Yeah, why not? Why not up in the Great Lakes? Yeah. Make Detroit beautiful again, right? Big data center there.
Big, beautiful data center.
Great Salt Lake water is nasty. Calling John Connor. I hate to say it, folks, but David Cameron was right. I hate to say it. As much as he does annoy me sometimes. Now he's banging on now. I tried to warn you guys.
Yeah.
He's seen him. No.
Yeah. Well, you did. Join the club, dude.
Can the adults in the room get together and let's have a conversation of like, this might not be the right economically and environmentally and for the future of the human race. This may not be a good idea to go down this road.
I mean, that's what Trump took away from. That's what this administration took away from us. They took away states' rights on this entire topic. This is potentially, one of the top 3 topics for humanity at this point on the timeline. What are we going to do about AI? What are we going to do with all this power? And how are we going to maintain our freedoms and liberties when it comes, when it hits? And this administration said, no. The states do not have a right to have that discussion.
Les Wexner's in Ohio. You better believe it.
Hell yeah.
Leslie Wexner is the Don of Columbus. He runs that city. He is the mafia boss in Columbus, Ohio. Les Wexner. So you're correct. So yeah, another unsavory point to make about Ohio. But don't worry, the tech bros have got it all under control. They're the future. They know what's going on. They're the wizards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, folks. I mean, yeah, you guys. I see. What's this here? I thought the AT&T underground database was in Atlanta. Oh, that's the least of your problems. 40,000 acres.
They had one there too. The story I'm referring to was from the San Francisco office, though, in the late 90s.
I got the number wrong. It's 40,000 acres. Dude,
geez.
How many acres is that?
I mean, imagine a giant cattle ranch on the coast of California. All right, those are
it's the size of a city.
Yeah.
That's it. And is that going to be enough? It's not going to be enough.
It has to scale, right? I hope they're building it to scale. Well, I wish they wouldn't build it at all, but I mean,
is the Borg going to be happy at 40,000 acres, or do we need to 10x that in the next 5 years?
Well, that's essentially what we just did. If my hypothesis is correct about what's going on in Utah, right? They built that thing on DHS money, on taxpayer dollars, in the early phase of global war on terror. And they aimed it at everybody and didn't tell everybody, right? They just started collecting everything. It's kind of like the FISA 702 argument happening right now. But this sort of negates that. If they already have everything and have collected everything anyway and are currently collecting anything, like who gives a crap about FISA 702 when they're going to plug Palantir into that thing? So it's like they build this huge thing, they charge us for it, they violate our rights with it, and now they have to add to it to be able to search and mine it and maintain it, right? So they didn't build it scalable enough because they didn't understand what scale it would cost to have artificial intelligence back in the 90s when they were or early 2000s, whenever they started developing this monstrosity. I would be not surprised to find out they were developing it and funding it before 9/11 even happened.
Here's the comment of the week right here, at least nominated by me, Terry Miller, 2088. You can't manage hell without data centers. So true.
And
so
who
true.
manages hell? Oh yeah, right.
Absolutely true. Blame it on the rodents. That's right. Water, the war on water, the war for water. Aliens will bring the cure. Don't worry about it. He's talking about the hantavirus there. Yeah, you guys are mesmerized by the hantavirus.
I hope there's no symbology about the rats because, rats are usually the ones known to leave a sinking ship. Anyway.
Yeah, there's that too. Thank you, Patrick. I've been spending more time outside working in the garden and not listening to much of anything. You're one I'll look for to watch. Yeah, we're good for the garden. We're good for garden work, house painting, general chores, hiking, driving.
Totally doable in earbuds. You don't have to sit in front of your computer if you don't want to.
Yep. So definitely
not the best choice of music for a rave, however.
And we're very entertaining on podcasts as well. So pop us in the Google here. Chinatown was so predictive. You're talking about Jack Nicholson's Chinatown, the film. Yeah, see that's another great piece of prescient cinema. Another great film worth watching again. Jack Nicholson was just a pretty powerful, amazing actor. Yeah. Oh gosh, did you guys see The Golden Calf?
Did you see? I haven't seen anything this week on it. What's going on?
I saw Golden Trump.
That's it. The Golden Trump. So a bunch of evangelicals are parading around a golden statue of Trump in Miami.
Oh, I did see that.
This is like straight out of the Bible. Oh, we got the Epstein suicide note there. That's interesting. Let me see if I can bring the Trump. There's a few good AI renderings of this, but yeah, I mean, I'm calling this the scriptural irony alert here. Let me bring this up here I mean, folks, you really can't make this stuff up as much as you would like to. You can't do it. You can't do it because this president is so far ahead of us. Just when we think we've caught up, he's just another step ahead of us, which is a testament to his MAGA-ness. I mean, look at this. So it
is beautiful. I saw it.
So he piped in a recorded message to this. He piped in because he couldn't be there at the unveiling of this statue. How much do you think this statue cost, you guys? Bear in mind, that's not real gold.
It looks cheap to me, honestly.
Probably some cheap spray paint, but
$33,000. I don't know.
$350,000.
What?
$350,000 here. So let me see. We want to hear the Trump. Yeah, Trump's going to pipe in here. This is the piped in message from the dear leader here, which to me is so funny.
I want to make sure everyone can hear. Okay, sir.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you so much for being there today, and more importantly, for what you did. The statue is beautiful. I saw it during the weekend. We had a big PGA tournament with a great champion and all great champions, actually, but it was a great tournament, and I got to look at it very closely, and it's incredible. And I just want to thank you. I know it was done from love, and I want to thank.
There's a lot of words I could use to describe that thing. Incredible is definitely one of them. So I have to agree with the president there. It's incredible, but maybe not in the same way that he's kind of saying it is. But what this is.
Who who paid $350,000 for it, Patrick? Was that the people of Florida, or
Well, it's probably the residents of Miami or Mar-a-Lago or Palm Beach or whatever. But I mean, that's just so ridiculous.
man?
I mean, that's it, folks. There's your republic.
And I was upset when they renamed Main Street in Seaside to Obama Avenue. That was nothing. That was nothing. I feel bad for being annoyed at that now.
I mean, folks, come on now. Seriously, when Moses came down the mountain and he saw this, what did he do? He made them melt it down and then mix it and cook it and then make them drink the gold, basically. That's what Moses did when he wasn't happy, basically. And here they are. I mean, how can these people call themselves Christian? Honestly, if they just don't get the irony that they themselves are basked in. This is just so lowbrow and cheap. Would it be a bad thing? I don't want to use the pejorative, but Trump makes it very difficult. I don't know. I don't want to say. There's a lot of things we could say, guys. There's a lot of names we could say. Right?
I think maybe I know why it costs so much money, Patrick. I think it came from the Michael Bay Studios, and when World War III starts, it's going to transform. It's a transformer waiting to wake up, and it's going to transform into a golden ball, the horned god ball. This is going to transform. It's going to go, whoa, and it's going to turn into the horned demon ball.
Yeah, with multiple heads and with a body like a serpent and a head like a lion, seven heads and 6 horns on each, whatever it was. But I was thinking more like Total Recall. I see Trump like with Quanto, and Quanto's like Bibi Netanyahu coming out of the stomach or whatever. I could see that meme, like a Total Recall meme of Trump and as the guy, and then Quanto is Netanyahu, or it could be the other way around. It's hard to. It's probably better to do it that way. But
Ruckus is already whipping it up in his graphic machine there.
You guys, let's be real. All these statues are going to require 24/7 security.
Oh yeah.
In the future, none of them will stand. None of these statues are going to stand. He will need to spend millions of dollars per year guarding all his monuments, because they're going to get vandalized, taken down. There's no way. I mean, this thing is just asking for it. It's going to have to get moved into like the ballroom of Mar-a-Lago. And how cheesy is that going to be? You're going to an event at Mar-a-Lago, there's a golden statue of Trump there. I mean, it's just like, it could be like, I don't know, Mar-a-Lago is going to end up like Elvis's Graceland. It's going to be like a cheesy tourist trap in Florida, of which there are many. If you've been to Florida, that's basically what Florida does. Is tourist traps. But he's right down the road from Alligator World and Sea World.
I don't even understand how that gold Krylon spray paint is supposed to withstand the Florida humidity. I mean, it's gonna crack off in a matter of a week, isn't it?
There's no way.
Press the science, bro.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's gold leaf or something, but even then, that's not good to have outdoors, is it? It's gonna have to get. There's quite a lot of maintenance involved there. Seriously, folks, we wish it was fiction. We wish it wasn't happening. We wish that we were just making all this up. But there we go. Quanto, hold on for a minute. Let's get a different view here. Hold on, let me bring that up here. Let me see. That's it. Total Recall. That's Trump with Netanyahu's Quanto. It even got the fingers. That's excellent.
You can thank Whitebird for that one.
That's a result right there. Thank you, Whitebird. Appreciate it. See, the comments might be really enthusiastic about this one. So, yeah, that's it. Gold calf, red heifer. I was just thinking that. Rather than a gold heifer. A gold heifer. This crowd. Yeah, it's just total class. We're all about class. Trump, not so much. Not so much. Nordic gold, maybe. Yeah. There we go. Melania statue. No, she got a mem coin though. Melania got a mem coin. It's gold leaf.
She got a movie, man.
Yeah.
The coinage and the statue, again, just add these to the long list of items that make America currently under the Trump administration very similar to the Roman Empire before it collapsed completely.
Yep. Well. No, so it's a great paperweight. It's just beautiful. That's what it's the world's largest paperweight. So he's going to have to guard all these statues after he's out of office. That's kind of obvious, isn't it, guys? I mean, that's just a kind of a reality there.
Yeah.
And aside from that, it's just not going to end. None of this can end well. I just can't see a world in which any of this ends well. The ballroom. Let me tell you about the ballroom. I did a little research on the ballroom, and there's only one other. It's almost cliche, but there's only one other world leader that insisted on constructing a massive ballroom next to, the main government building. And guys, it was the tiny mustache man.
Uh-oh.
The tiny mustache man insisted that they have a massive ballroom, and it became a big deal. And he went for, I don't have the story to hand. I had it bookmarked, but you can look it up on the Google machine there. Just put tiny mustache man ballroom Berlin 1939 ish. Yeah. So
I said it before. I'll remind everyone again that before he was elected, even the first time, they used to run around calling him the Mustache Man. And I was like, the guy does nothing to be compared to the Mustache Man. Oh, I guess they were looking forward to a time when he literally does stuff exactly like Mustache Man. That way, if you point it out, you're like, hey, we've been there before. What do you got, TDS or something?
Yes, more like baby alien busting out of Trump's John Hurt's stomach. Yeah, there is that. That's that can be done on AI as well. It'll be very gruesome though.
Let's get like the Spaceballs version of that.
Fool's gold. You can say that again. So the other thing, guys, is, and this is probably my final comment here, and I'll get your final comments before we wrap it up. But Trump, it's just like, all the money and power in the world. Just imagine, most powerful man in the world. He's swimming in money. And it's just a great lesson to everybody that money, all the money and power in the world does not buy class. All the money and power in the world cannot buy you class. Donald Trump has proven this beyond, in a way that no one could ever prove in this way. And that's probably the greatest tragedy of Trump as a person, as a figure, as a leader. All the power, all the money, and he has no class, which is sad. And which is why he's not respected. And he doesn't really respect other people as well by the way he carries on. Kind of basic stuff, but if that's a reflection of America, I think our country is in deep, what? Here we go. Now we're getting there. This is Greg Houseman. Erica Kirk was the Total Recall wife. Beautiful. We're already scripting the film, guys. We're already scripting the film. I can see it now. That's so beautiful. I could just see, just a pastiche on Total Recall. So Kash Patel can play the 3-armed taxi driver on Mars or whatever. I got 6 kids to feed. Oh dear. She's got nicknames. She's got many nicknames. She has many nicknames. Did you see her Janet Jackson meltdown the other day?
Yes.
Yeah, that was something else, wasn't it?
Yes. It's all the whole scene around that TPUSA thing is just like so creepy and so toxic. I don't even like to look at it.
I love this. Very few people. You don't need class when you're huge. That sort of says it all right there. That's so accurate. That's so accurate. And done with a heavy dose of sarcasm there at very few people. Looks like he's a musician. Excellent. We've got artists and musicians, a lot of talent in our comment threads, folks. Diddy University.
Someone asked, "Where's the three-boobed woman?" Remember the three-boobed woman in that movie? It's a good,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
for
That's
Pam Lumby that she's not in the cabinet
that's
anymore.
Larry. That's Larry Loomer.
Yeah, there you go.
It could be the three. That could. Oh, that would be. Oh, dude, this movie is coming together quick, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, it is.
We've already done all the main scenes.
Someone's prompting their AI right now. This is going to come out. Please shout us out when you drop this one.
Yeah, Total Recall. Hauser. Or was it Hauser? Hauser. I think we got some named Hauser in the comments or Houseman. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But yeah. So that's it, guys. You guys said Tulsi Gabbard is the three-breasted woman. I don't know about that. That's a bit racy there.
Just as long as it's not Miriam Adelson, please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's got a part in it for sure. I could see like a Hunger Games remake. Miriam Adelson would be the perfect type of, that have the elite panel. That's I can see Miriam Adelson there.
Yeah.
Making people kill each other to get scraps of food. I can totally see that.
Or Snowpiercer, perhaps the
yes
woman from Snowpiercer.
Yeah, and then the front carriages on the train. That's the Met Ball,
right?
I don't know if you guys seen that. You guys seen the MAGA Met Ball? Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
there's some pretty hardcore films going on.
I'm not sure that was related to MAGA, but or did they make an AI version of the Met Ball?
I don't know. They said it was an AI version of the Met Ball, but it was the sort of MAGA. Hesher, you saw that one?
Yeah, I did. It was in my scroll at one point. I was laughing.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think I've got that as well. Let me see if I can pull that one up. But Kash Patel was in kind of like a very chic Spider-Man's outfit.
Yeah.
And the JD Vance one, they're just having a field day with poor JD Vance. I mean, he just can't escape. He's just been completely overtaken by this.
He was like the first one that I followed this account on IG called the Daily Vance, like back when we first started getting very photorealistic video AI stuff. Mm-hmm. He was among my first AI slop follows. That one and Bigfoot and Sasquatch were my two. Oh, and Void Stomper. Like those were the three I went to for my AI slop enjoyment, and I capped myself right there because I didn't want my feed to turn into all that stuff. But the Daily Vance, hilarious every time, just hilarious.
The Daily Vance. Oh, gosh. It was scary. Absolutely scary.
I mean, they got him just like looking like a tomato, riding jet skis and, riding on skateboards and doing all kind of wacky stuff.
Has someone invented an AI yet that will make these people, what would these people look like and act like if they actually did their damn job? Acted like full-grown adults and like as a president and a defense secretary. Could you imagine?
Well, we don't have any adults that could train the AI to actually model that anymore. So unfortunately, those days are lost.
You mean, Ruckus, if we respected him enough that we wouldn't want to be like taking the mickey out of them all the time? Is that... Is that what you're
it's fun and all, but I mean, it's like the most unbelievable thing for most of us is for these people to act normal. It's like that's out of the question. Like we can't see them actually doing the thing, and that's a damn shame. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem.
Especially because they pretended like they were going to do that in 2022. All these people went around and talked about cocaine with comedians and stuff and talked in open format, and it was like, oh, that was really, I would say, what really got a lot of people off the Democrat train and onto the Trump train. I would wager there are a bunch of people out there with buyer's remorse, and part of the reason that they have that buyer's remorse is because these guys were none of them were politicians already for the most part. With Hegseth and all these people, it's just like, you have your Rubios, of course, there's rooted politicians in there, but the people that were going around doing all the glad handing and backslapping on Theo Vaughn's podcast and Joe Rogan's podcast, to include RFK Jr., especially RFK Jr., perhaps.
Especially.
They went out there and made it look like they were going to be like Ruckus just described, normal Americans that could sit down without a teleprompter and have a discussion with someone who was going to wing whatever at them. And we did that on TNT too. We interviewed some of these people, at least I did on my show, and it was like totally normal. You know what I mean? Like responding to current events like a normal person would, if we even have such a thing in the new abnormal. But now it's like they're unavailable. They don't do long form. They do HR videos from 2010 to promote war. And it's like, you guys lost your whole base here. At least the people that think or that connected to that. Like, okay, at least I can sit down and watch a comedian talk to this guy for 2 hours. And, you know, he appears to not be reading from a prompter. That's great. That's an upgrade. But look what it got us.
Yes. TP stands for turning point, but for other people, it means something else. There, that's right. Oh, did you guys hear about the? I don't want to rag on Trump too much, but I have to mention these two things. So, Truth Social, it's meant to be a business, right? Okay, so Trump Media Group, I think that's what it's called. They just their earnings statement was released this week. $500 million. They lost $500 million. 500 million. Okay. Think about that. They've overspent. They've gone to. They've lost 500 million. They only made 870,000 in sales in 2 years. In sales, but they've overspent $500 million. So all that money got sucked out in CEO salary compensation, all that stuff. They opened at $100 a share 2 years ago, and it was a pump and dump, and now it's down to like 8 something. So they ramped it all up. Who did they get to the Trumps put in their own money, which they probably scammed out of a mem coin or something. But their biggest investors, aside from the Trump family shareholders, are BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
Yeah, who now own the majority of single-family residence homes here in the United States. Who now, it's just like you can just hear the consolidation of all resources, the vortex just circling around you.
Globalists propped up Truth Social. So it wasn't a business. It didn't have a business plan, wasn't operating like a business. It was just a pay to play, just like the Clinton Foundation. Pay to play. The difference is they put money in the Clinton Foundation because they anticipated Hillary would be president. That's why everybody put money in. Trump's actually done it while he's president.
Also, the Clinton Foundation was not the source of official information to the citizens of the country. Like all the official announcements are coming from Trump's Truth Social and not even from official communication channels. It's crazy.
Yeah, I own my own website, and that's where I'm going to run the country's business from. And the website's bankrupt. I mean, honestly, it's great, inspirational. So that's number one. Number two. Trump phone. Did you guys hear about the Trump phone? Do you know about the Trump phone?
Yeah.
So this was to compete with Eric Prince's phone. I think it didn't have any features other than it's probably gold. It'd be a gold phone or gold looking. Obviously not real gold. Retailing at allegedly at $580 per phone. They took deposits. They took a lot of deposits
months ago.
Yeah, like 50,000 people paid $100 deposit or something. And so they racked in $60 million in deposit pre-order. And they just released the Trump Incorporated, Trump Phone Incorporated, whatever, just changed their terms and conditions this week. They said that there is no guarantee that we will be shipping any product. And we can't give you a refund.
Let's
Guys,
just call it a donation.
Would you call that a business?
No, that's the kind of thing a business gets sued for in a class action lawsuit and then is no longer a business.
It's an interesting business model, right? To pump up. And there's another guy that Trump pardoned. He's the founder of Nikola. It's meant to be a truck that ran on like free energy. And like Nikola Tesla, because Tesla wasn't available, Elon took that, or the guys that made Tesla. So Nikola, and the truck went public. They went public. They did an IPO. They raised, guys, get ready for it. They raised 30 billion, market cap of 30 billion, I think. 30 billion? 30 billion. And they didn't ever develop the engine. What they did was they put the truck on a slight hill incline and it rolled down the hill, and that's what they filmed for the shareholders. I kid you not. And Trump pardoned this guy, pardoned this. I wish I had the beep button on the audio right now, because that's what I really feel. I mean, we are in the age of scammers here, like next level, unattainable levels of scamster and fraudsterism. Unbelievable. I thought this was a joke. I thought the whole thing was fake, but it's true. And Trump pardoned that guy. He should be in jail for forever, right?
Long time.
Total fraud. But if you do a 30 billion fraud, then you're cool. You can have lunch with the president. If you bounce a check in New York, you go to jail. The DA will prosecute you, right?
This reminds me of
if you commit a crime, it has to be like a lot of money. You can't do the petty.
Yeah. It reminds me of Solyndra.
Solyndra, yeah, I mean that's bad enough. This is kind of worse.
Yeah, this is way higher stakes if memory serves.
Yeah, I mean at least Solyndra had developed or had a product that probably, I think they were going to buy it from China, probably. Straight up stole people's money. Trump phone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bill Murray is like 80 now, and I saw him in that zombie movie. What on earth are you guys talking about?
There also reminds me of Elizabeth Holmes, the biotech entrepreneur who's convicted of fraud. She had that health company, Theranos.
Theranos, that's it. Yeah, I remember that.
Like John McCain, all these people were like big up.
Biden.
Yeah.
Biden was in there pumping that up.
Yep.
And she basically faked it. She faked it. She had she had the blood being tested in a back room, and then they fed the results through. And the whole thing was a facade.
And now she's in jail. Funny side note, now she's in jail and she has an X account, and on her X account, she's telling people basically that, you need to get ready for the end. And she's doing doomsaying from her prison cell on X about, artificial intelligence and stuff like this.
She could be right. We need Madoff out now too. Is Madoff still? I think he died in prison. I think actually. I don't know if he's alive.
That might be late.
Yeah. Trump was an investor in Theranos, apparently.
Oh, how about that? That's nice to know.
Surprise, surprise. She's doing wonderful things with the blood. She's doing great things with the blood. All kinds of lots
blood
of tests.
Science. It's the best blood science of all.
She's a tremendously hard worker. Elizabeth Holmes. She was in Celebrity Apprentice. She was right, you guys. He's made off with it. Haha, no pun intended. No pun intended. Yep. Bernie Madoff only got prosecuted because he started ripping off New York tribe members. Okay. Right, that's actually true. Yeah. Peter Thiel, the blood. Okay, the blood business. There could be some legs with that. Could be some legs with that. Yeah, there's all sorts of things going on there. Thank you. Patra does a great Trump impression. I'm minor. I'm a minor player in the world of Trump impressions now, but
you're getting better. It's good. It's way better than mine. Our friend Basil Analyzer on Boiler Room has a top-notch one. He's really good.
Well, I got to check him out. Yeah, maybe you can do some audio slugs for us for some ads.
You wouldn't be the only person hitting him up for some of those.
Don't forget Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah, Trump's done that. They did that with the World Liberty Financial. They used their mem coin as collateral to get real money. I mean, that's what Sam did. That's why he's in jail. But Trump and Sons would be in jail, but that's right. They fired the regulators at the SEC, so they can't do that. So convenient how that works out. But hey, he who has the gold makes the rules.
Did Doge do that?
Yeah. What about, where is Doge right now? We're 2.5 trillion in debt, overspending, budget deficit. Elon, you were supposed to fix all that, but you didn't. So that's where it is, folks. That's where it is. What can we say? Gentlemen, thank you very much. Your final thoughts, shout outs for the week. Go ahead, Hesher and Ruckus.
Thank you, MindHack and the other folks that dropped some super stickers and super chats. We really appreciate that. And thanks, Patrick, for having us. Very strange times we live in, for sure. I want to point people to alternatecurrentradio.com for our latest boiler room. It's called The Narrative Containment Breach. It's up there at the website. We've got the videos embedded, the audio embedded, and Ruckus and I have been working on the show format. So we've been updating the show format on the page here. You've now got your overview in a tab. You've got all your sources, even a hybrid transcript. If you want to just kind of peruse the general themes and gist of the show, you can find that. We're still working on the raw transcript, but we're going to get that up there as well. So check the website out. One thing that we did talk about on the show was this video right here. I'll just kind of play it as a little bit of B-roll while I tell you what you're seeing here. This is a basically a sort of a hybrid activism / art installation that popped up in New York. It's called the Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Reading Room. And what this guy, David Garrett, the organizer, has done is he's printed out all 3,400 volumes of redacted Epstein documents. You can kind of see them there if you're watching the stream. It's a huge book, a huge volume. It weighs 17,000 pounds. It would take a year if you read 2 pages per minute, I think, or something like that. It would take a year to read it all, and to read the 3 volumes that he just pulled out right there. That's 24 hours of reading. So it's an interesting setup here that he's made, Patrick, and I think sometimes a visual aid can be really helpful for people, and I think it's interesting to think about how much paper was used to print that. He also has like some LED candles set up for all the victims, so there's like, you know, commentary in this about victims' names having been exposed while co-conspirators' names were carefully redacted, stuff like that. He's got a timeline up there in the art installation where he shows Jeffrey's sort of timeline and Donald's timeline, and then in the center where they meet up and collide. So you can learn more about that on this last episode of Boiler Room. Again, the Narrative Containment Breach. And again, thanks for having us. We've got new episodes of Mystical American Patriot Society, the Odd Man Out podcast. We've got Ruckus's appearances on Weaponized News with Sam Chaney. Please follow Weaponized News if you don't already. And yeah, and if you want to support Alternate Current Radio or 21stCenturyWire.com, you can do that on our websites.
Thank you very much. Again, there's links to Alternate Current Radio in our show description and on the show page at 21stCenturyWire.com. Ruckus, take it away. Thanks again for joining us, gentlemen. But your final thoughts, shout outs for the week, Ruckus.
Yeah, everything he said. Yeah, check us out on Boiler Room, and the podcast bucket for my appearances on Weaponized News are under Roundabout Ruckus. I'm on there once a week, so you'll find that under Roundabout Ruckus. If you want to check out my old podcast, that's the Daily Ruckus. That will be coming back soon eventually, but again, all that's found at alternatecurrentradio.com. For other stuff that I do, make sure you're following me on X. I'm _AC Wordslinger. Lots of fun stuff going on there all the time. So I may not always be on a podcast, I may not always be doing a show, but I'm always posting something interesting worth your time to take a peek at and or sharing great stuff on my X. So make sure you follow me over there. Thanks again for having me. Don't forget what Bill Cooper taught us, y'all. Read everything, listen to everybody, but don't believe anything unless you prove it for yourself using your own research. There you go.
Thank you. Yes, they bring in the Ruckus this week. Thank you very much. Hesher, Ruckus, everybody at Alternate Current Radio, at 21 Wire, YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook Live, BitChute Live. Got a few people on the BitChute as well. Yes, Bill Cooper, RAP, absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody, for your attention, your support, your engagement this week. Much appreciated. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. And thank you for last week as well, holding the fort down. And that was also a great episode. Again, you can watch the replay at the archives at 21st Century Wire. You just go to our website and pick up this section here. That's up on our website right there, 21 Wire, the Sunday Wire archives. And we're live here every week on all these different platforms, Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK, and everything in between. So you can catch us there. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your support as well. We've had a great response on our membership drive over the last couple of weeks. So, again, if you haven't done yet, go to 21st Century Wire up to the donate section there, and you'll see we've got the different membership options there. Subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv, and you can find different ways to support us, either by PayPal. We've got a credit card link, as well as crypto coins as well. We've got a few wallets set up there, so we do get some incoming donations on that front as well, but we're able to put it to good use, and we hope you guys can find it within your hearts to support us going forward. We're able to do quite a lot more now, and we are able to produce a lot more. The investigative reports have been awesome, as have the photo illustrations that we're also producing for those, as well as the different video content, different types of video content we're now releasing. There'll be a whole raft of new walk and talk videos that I shot over the last couple of weeks. Those will be coming out this week, be dripping out as of probably tomorrow. And we've got a lot of different things going on. UK column, I'm appearing there on Fridays. That's also a great news program. You can go see that at ukcolumn.org. I'll repost those episodes at 21st Century Wire as well, especially the Friday programs. So there's a lot of content, a lot of podcasts we're doing. Just did Dialogue Works today. That's up on YouTube right now. We'll repost that tomorrow at 21 Wire. But yeah, there's no shortage. We got to keep our finger on the pulse so that we can keep you guys informed and abreast, and everybody, of what's happening, what's likely to happen, what we think is happening, and how best to sort of boil it down in ways that you can understand, in things that you can sort of digest, as it were. So anyway, look forward to catching you guys during the week. Again, go to 21stcenturywire.com. In terms of support, we'll pop the QR code up there in the corner. Just scan that. That'll take you, if you're watching on a desktop now, it'll take you to our support page where you can find ways. Obviously, if you like and subscribe this our YouTube channel, especially in Rumble, of course, as well, that does a huge amount in helping us to get more visibility. But beyond that, monthly, subscribe to 21wire.tv. It's just above $5 a month. Makes a massive difference. We're able to expand. We got a new show we're working on as well, in addition to all the other new stuff that's coming out too. So thank you for your help. Thank you for support. Thank you for joining us at 21st Century Wire, at the Sunday Wire this week. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We will see you next time. And so we'll be going out with the music and art, once again, of the Real Anthem Band, which we will play for you now. Take care, you guys. I hope you had a great week, the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you very soon. All the best.
Show of secret talks, a cold stealing serpent calls, buildings burn, masking riot shots. It's TV terror, watch the will of God. flag.